Hello everyone, this is Melanie B and welcome to Melanie B's Creative Studio. In the first ever Melanie Makes a Mess or a Masterpiece, I'm going to attempt to learn amigurumi. What'd you call me?
So what is amigurumi?
Basically, it is a type of crochet. So when I mentioned to my husband that I was going to do a video about crochet, he, being the snarky, smartastic human being that he is, made the comment, well, you are old and a grandma now, so it is about time for you to crochet. And after he got up off the floor, I told him crochet is a very hot trend right now, and that the style I'm going to be trying is not what we all think about when we think about crochet. I wanted to find a very high quality kit with high quality materials. I found the Woobles. And the reason I wanted to test their kits first, because of the videos they provide. I have no experience when it comes to knitting or crocheting. I'm an absolute beginner. I wanted to see if these kits were all inclusive, and I wanted to see if the tutorials they provide us are going to teach me how to crochet. If they can teach me how to crochet with zero experience, anyone can learn, okay? I'm telling you, if you have the desire, you can learn. So the big question is, will Melanie make a mess or a masterpiece? The good news about this particular type of craft is the mess will be yarn. That could be messy, but it'll just be a pile of like string. So let's jump in. Let's just do it, okay? Let's see if Melanie makes a mess or a masterpiece. Go ahead and throw a vote down there in the comments right now if you would like. Take a stab. Amigurumi. I'm so proud of myself for saying it right. Oh, okay. Their kits are designed for the absolute beginner, but they do have beginner plus and intermediate kits as well. So if you go to purchase anything from their site, and by the way, I'm not affiliated, I'm going to get no commission or anything like that by you purchasing from the links I'm going to provide to you. But I think they do have like a referral link that I can use, which would be awesome if I want to buy more kits in the future, if I like this. My first order was Sebastian the Lion and Cornelius the Bee. And then I was like, oh, Sebastian says it's a beginner plus or an intermediate. So I was all ready to start and do this video. And then I was like, that ain't the one. And then I looked at the bee and I went, wings. Huh. So now we're going to go with Kiki the chick. Okay. So she looks like she might be the most simple, but they do mark this on the website, which I was just so ready to jump right in that I didn't pay any attention. So if you want like a complete beginner's kit, I highly recommend that you do that because you need to if you've never done any crochet at all, okay? Just my suggestion. Kiki would be a good one, I think. I don't know. Here I am advising. I hadn't even opened the kit yet. So let's see what's in the kit. Let's jump in. Let's get to it. Let's go make a mess or a masterpiece. So what you get in your Woobles kit is the yarn that you need, and I'm going to talk about the yarn in just a minute. You're going to get a crochet hook that is a 4.0 millimeter with a very nice ergonomic rubberized handle, which I really like. You're also going to get the stuffing that you need, plus some, and then in here, you get the wee woobly bits. So what is in this packet is what you need to get started as far as the information. Also, there are a couple of other things which I will show you because there are important things in here as well. You're going to have a little bit of black yarn, which we'll need for making eyes. If we don't want to use the plastic eyes that they have included, these kind of eyes, they've given us 3 just in case we lose one, okay? Which is awesome, right? But they've also given us the back of those. And they've also given us a needle, which we will need at some point in the process. If you were going to give your project to a pet or a young child under the age of 3, you would definitely want to use the yarn instead of these kind of eyes. Even though these click into place, you know, these could potentially come out and become a choking hazard. And they're very pointed, so keep that in mind. So on the back of this card is the information you will need to get into the website to make Kiki. So let's talk about this yarn for just a minute. It's a lot different than anything I've ever seen before. Not that I'm a yarn connoisseur or anything, but this yarn is a cotton knit yarn, very stretchy. So it's designed for beginners. It doesn't have the ply, like a 2 or 4 ply, like a lot of yarns, like cross stitch yarn. You know how you peel it apart? This doesn't. So when you're going to hook with it, it only grabs the one strand. So it's supposed to be designed for absolute beginners. And even people who are not beginners seem to love this kind of yarn. So that I thought was very cool. The other thing that I think is very cool is that they have done this for us. People who have done amigurumi or any kind of crochet things understand what this means. These are stitch markers, so they have given us 3 stitch markers, but apparently they have started the project for us in the beginner kits. And from what I understand, this is like the price of admission. Now, once I start, I may understand this better, like why this is so important. This looks confusing, and I'm already very intimidated just from looking at what the hell this is. Oh, by the way, I didn't put the disclaimer in the very beginning about my language, but when I'm learning something new, I tend to get a teensy bit frustrated. So I will censor out bad words, most bad words, but yeah, I'm not sure that I will be able to censor out or blur my mouth movements. So danger, danger, Will Robinson. All right. So anyway, let's move along. Let's get started. I'm ready to jump into learning, hopefully learning something. So let's see what happens. Can I make Kiki the chick? Is it politically correct to call her a chick? Just wondering. Inquiring minds want to know. Okay. Moving on. I'm super duper excited. All right, let's push play. Where's play?
With this kit, you're going to learn how to crochet and in the process, make this cute little wooble called Kiki the Chick. We're going to start off with the pre-started piece in your kit, learn how to make the whole body, then make the beak and the wings and attach them all.
You have a lot more faith in me than I do. I gotta hit the screen again. This is a lot more cardio than I was expecting.
Be doing more than just pass the time. You're going to be learning a new skill. So if this is your first time crocheting, that means you're probably going to make mistakes, and that is totally okay. If you run into trouble, just tap on the help icon
at the bottom of the screen to find videos to help you troubleshoot common issues. Or simply pull on the yarn thread to the yarn ball so that you get reset back to your...
Remember to have fun, and let's get woobling.
We're gonna have fun. Let's get woobling. No, we're not gonna do this the whole time.
Using blue yarn.
I'm already tired.
You have the same type of yarn in your kit, so you should be able to follow the middle of it. There should be a piece that looks like it's already been crocheted and has some plastic things on it. Leave the plastic things in the piece intact. You're gonna pull that yarn out, and if that yarn's actually coming from the outside of your ball and this label's getting in the way, feel free to take the label out.
Sure.
You don't actually need it
That
to keep
scares
this
me.
all together. All right, so what we are going to do is wrap this yarn around our left hand. So take your left palm, face it to you, hold the piece in front of your palm, and watch the yarn that's connected to the yarn ball. You're gonna wrap that once around your pinky. So now the piece is behind your fingers, and then bring the yarn over your index finger, and then hold onto the piece with your thumb and your middle finger.
What the hell
you
kind
wanna
of...
try to keep the yarn draped on your index finger towards the back third of your finger, close to your knuckle. That way, when you're crocheting, the yarn won't easily slip off of your finger.
What if you have nubs for fucking fingers? Okay, wait. What is this Harry Potter sorcery? We just started. I foresee a mess in my future. Okay, wait. But I can't see her whole finger. Like, where does this go? This yarn ball is going to end up on the floor. Like, I'm too fat for this. I'm supposed to be recording horizontally. Shit fire. It took me 9 times to get this held in the right position. I think it's held in the right position. I guess we'll find out when I actually have to do something. Okay. Let's push the screen. Okay.
I'm gonna
And up and down. So you want to have this little loop in the upper right hand corner, and then the orange stitch marker immediately to its left. And the green stitch marker is to the left of that. You also want to move this top piece of yarn in case it's in front of your piece. You want to move it to the back, under and behind the yarn that is draped on your finger.
Might have a chick by Easter.
So if it's feeling like it's too loose, like there's too much slack,
Yeah.
just move your index finger away from you.
It didn't do anything. I told you I gotta
Just move your finger closer.
stump for a
And if
finger.
it's like super loose and even pulling your finger away doesn't help, just keep pulling on the yarn connected to the yarn ball until everything tightens up.
I'm a visual person, but it's not you. At least I can say amigurumi. I feel successful at something at this moment. Moving along.
Last step to get into crocheting position.
There's more?
Take your hook and stick it into the little loop from the right to the left or from the bottom up, depending on how your loop is currently positioned. Now you're in crocheting position.
It only took 20 minutes for me to get in crocheting position. Did I mention the new Melanie Makes series only has 1 video? Okay, I'm an overachiever. I don't give up that easily. I mean, like, let's just go ahead and say it. I mean, I know my truth, okay? I know my truth. If I fail at this, it's not their fault. It's really, I mean, it's not their fault. And I am a quick learner, but this is why I've never learned this before, I think. We're not through the first video yet. I'm not through the first video. These are just clips of the first overview. I'm scared, y'all. I'm scared. I promised that I would at least make one of these for the video. I don't care if it looks like a freaking blob. I have to make the whole thing, okay? Okay. All right. Let's do it.
We're going to learn how to make what's called a single crochet stitch. The first thing you need to do is figure out what hole to put the hook into.
So many things
You
that I
want
could
to put
say.
your hook, if you were to look at the rim of your piece, it looks like a horizontal V. So you want to put your hook in the hole directly below that horizontal V, in the hole that is marked by this orange stitch marker.
I know why I can't learn it. It's because I have the mind of a preteen. Because I didn't hear a damn thing she said. Because my mind took a turn. I missed everything she said. All right, I'm going to learn. Off screen, I'm learning. the single crochet. I'm learning this, the single crochet stitch, okay? I'm doing it off screen because I don't need y'all's opinion of me to change any lower than it probably is at this moment. So I'm going to continue and learn, and I'll be back and I'll show you what I've learned, okay?
So I'm starting today with a new attitude-ish. What I'm going to work on is the single crochet stitch. I'm going to try to get back into crochet position because I have been practicing how to hold this. I feel like a hand contortionist or something. Like, it's very awkward at first. Thank you for tolerating my bad attitude. Let's continue woobling, whatever the hell that is. I did a single crochet stitch, but y'all, that wasn't single. Like, there were like 9 steps to that shit. Oh my God. This is a big chicken. Like, if that's a single crochet stitch and there's like 98 steps to it, how long is this gonna take? How do people do it so fast? Oh my God, that was just one. Okay, increase stitch. We just learned that other thing. Oh my God. Okay, time lapse. We're gonna time lapse. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. Oh my gosh, y'all. I just finished round 2 by myself and I did 6 increase stitches and I have all 12 stitches. I feel so successful and I feel like I can actually do this. I'm still struggling with this whole thing here, like feeling very awkward. You know, I'm 53 years old. I feel like this could be very good for motor skills because of fears of losing skills, you know, as you get older. I feel like starting something at this age could help us continue to refine those skills. All right, one more note. This is really easy yarn to work with. It's not catching on the hook with fibers or anything. I really like this a lot. And it's soft, but not like plushy yarn. I will be back with some progress updates. Okay, so I'm back and I wanted to show you where I am in this little project. I'm not completely 100% disappointed in myself. I'm actually pretty impressed that I've gotten this far, even though it looks like a beehive. I guess once it's stuffed that it'll start taking better shape. I am trying to learn a little bit about the consistency of the stitches. You know, I can see that I've got some holes in here. But again, you know, for never having crocheted anything in my life, I mean, I think she's doing a very good job teaching me. Because if I can learn this much so far, I feel pretty confident that anybody can learn this. I've actually thoroughly enjoyed it. So I will be back with more progress updates, and we will see if this actually starts to look like Kiki the chick. I can't believe it, but I finished the rest of that in maybe 20-30 minutes, and this is where I am. So of course it's not perfect, but I wouldn't expect perfection on my first attempt. And now it's time to put on the eyeballs and to stuff it. So that's what I'm going to do according to the instructions. have one more round to do before I sew her up and fasten her off according to these instructions. It looks like next I have to do the wings and the beak, and then I have to sew those on. So I will be back after I have made the beak and the wings.
All right, well, it's been about 3.5 to 4 weeks now since I first started my amigurumi venture. Let's see if this was a mess or a masterpiece. Honestly, I'm not sure if it's either one. I don't think she's a mess. It's super cute. Meet Kiki. I think she turned out quite adorable. I don't know, maybe that's just me. You know, I'm a little biased, but for never having done amigurumi before, I think this is a success. Maybe not a masterpiece, but at least somewhere in between, like mediocre. I did actually accomplish what I set out to do, which was learn amigurumi and crochet. And now I'm hooked. Pun was absolutely intended. I'm sorry, I'm a nerd. I am absolutely hooked though. I love crochet. I love amigurumi. It is very relaxing. Now, I'm going to show you some of the other projects I have completed since I started because I didn't have time to record with the holidays and everything. So I just went ahead and worked on some other projects to kind of refine and hone the skills that I had learned, and using some of the Woobles kits. So because I used some of the Woobles kits, I also was able to continue with their tutorials and instructions, but I've also found some invaluable resources on YouTube that I'm going to share the links in the description for you. Really, was the kit worth $30? The Kiki kit, say that 3 times fast, with the crochet hook was $30 at retail price. What would I have to purchase individually to get what I got in my kit? Right here, I'm going to put the list of what I would have had to purchase to get what was included in this kit. Now, obviously, you can't just buy 2 eyes for your amigurumi project. You have to buy a pack of eyes. I figured it out with tax that it would have cost me $38.88 at the very cheapest, most affordable price. That's if I did not buy their particular brand of Woobles beginner yarn. That's if I bought some knockoff brand that wasn't as soft, because on Black Friday, I did buy a Black Friday special of beginner's yarn of a knockoff brand, thinking what a good bargain. And it doesn't feel the same. It's a little rougher. So it's not that same soft stuff, but I did price it with 2 skeins of the cheapest beginner's yarn I could find on Amazon. And that was still $38.88. Not to mention that you have to buy the pattern somewhere for this exact chick. So I had to go in search of this exact pattern. They're giving it to us not only in instructional format, but also in a printable PDF format for us to have if we want to remake that chick in 15 different types of yarn. We can do that. So I can make this in a plushy version with super soft, fluffy yarn if I want, because I have the pattern now. They're also giving us very detailed tutorials, step by step, that's personalized for our particular kit. And also there is a help button. I don't know how many times I had to use that help button that gives us the answers to the pretty much precise questions that I had throughout. I didn't even have to contact anybody, but if I had to contact somebody, they actually have an email and a text message where I can go and speak to somebody like directly. How are you going to get that kind of service? You know what you pay for a class like that? So yeah, I had a few things along the way that annoyed me about the class. All in all, when I show you some of the projects that I've been able to make, I feel like this $30 was the best money I've spent on any kit ever for the instructional purposes alone, really. So let's talk real quick about what I've learned from this process. The first thing I learned was that I need anger management. I've cussed so much. Although my dad was a Navy man of 20 years, I'm not sure he'd be so proud of me for being so fluent in the language of the sailors. I'm just going to say. My husband would come into the room and he'd be like, what are you in here cussing about? I'd be there like, I'm trying to make this magic ring. It took me about a week of like 900 videos and I got it. I got that crap now. That and a damn slip knot. I swear. My dyslexia is showing, y'all. The older I get, the more it shows. I'm trying to learn a slip knot. I'm like, it's a slip knot. Like, how do... Anyway, I learned that I did make a lot of messes and a lot of mistakes. Lots and lots of mistakes. But the beauty of Amigurumi and crochet is that the mistakes are easily undone and then you can redo those stitches. So there weren't huge mistakes. There were frustrating mistakes, but there was nothing that couldn't be like fixed. If I got super annoyed, I just was like, okay, this is no longer fun. I'm not enjoying this process right now. Set it down, time for bed, you know. But once you're not enjoying the process of anything anymore, it's time to set it aside. I've learned that I'm now addicted to a new freaking hobby. I didn't need this in my life. I did learn how to get into crochet position. That made me feel successful. I did learn that I have stumpy fingers. I learned that a stitch marker will save your life. Not really, but it will save you so much frustration and a whole lot of cussing. Don't forget your stitch marker every round. Every round. Ask me how I know. It will save your sanity. I learned all of these stitches and terms. To know all of that is, I think, is successful, you know? So again, may not be masterpieces here, but the whole point was to learn something new and to continue to educate myself. And I guess that part is an accomplishment. And most importantly, or extremely importantly, I can now take any pattern, at least 90% of them, and I can make that project. Yep. And I'm so thrilled with that. And there are 2 projects here that I don't have to show you because 2 of the projects that I made, I gave to my little grandsons for Christmas presents. One of them, when I presented it to him for Christmas, and I said, this is one of those special presents that I made for you myself because, you know, I want you to have something that your grandmother made for you, which just kind of doesn't roll off the tongue right, you know? Like, sometimes when I say the word grandmother, it's just like kind of choke on those words. But anyway, but I said, so when you're older, you can look back and go, you know, my grandmother made that for me. I didn't know this project was an advanced, like an intermediate to advanced project. And I started making it about 5 days before Christmas, 4 or 5 days. And y'all know I had a big sale and had to make a bunch of paints and stuff. So I could only work on this project like for 2 hours at night before I went to bed. So I'm going to put this project up on the screen after I show you these others and show you, because I'm thrilled the way it turned out, even though it's not perfect. It is perfectly imperfect. I'm going to show you my little amigurumi projects in the order that I actually created them, and then I'll put the other 2 up on the screen. Remember, I told you I had purchased the lion and didn't realize he was a beginner plus, but I went ahead and attempted the lion. So I got him done, Then I did the bee. This bee is technically named Cornelius, but I have a crown for this bee because this is the queen bee. And so her name cannot be Cornelius. She's just like a little fat bee. So this is me. It's like my twin flame or something. So this little bee is my busy bee. But anyway, these are Woobles that I'm showing you right now. Then I did Ted, the gingerbread man. But I didn't like the bow tie, so I didn't put the bow tie on Ted. And then I attempted with 2 different types of yarn. I used the beginner's yarn that I got from Amazon to make an octopus. And this one has some little tricky legs, little tentacles. And then with smaller yarn, I made a tiny octopus. So same pattern, different yarn. So I just wanted to try to see what happened when you use different yarn. Then for one of my grandsons, I made this axolotl. I didn't have the plush yarn, so I ended up using the beginner's yarn for this one too. Drum roll, please. Oh, an axolotl pattern came from Etsy, and I'll put the link for that pattern in the description below, and for the octopus, and I'll also put the link for this adorable dragon. This plush yarn actually worked beautifully to be an Amazon brand. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't like from Michael's. It wasn't a name brand, especially since I had never used a chunky plush yarn before. I really loved how this dragon turned out. And my grandson did not put that down for the entire 3 hours that he was there for Christmas Day, which made me feel very happy. I know that this video was a lot longer than I really expected for the first video to be, but it encompasses a lot of things. And so I knew it would be a little more involved for this first video. I don't want you to be afraid to watch future videos. I know I talk a lot. I did want to bring some humor into this and just be myself. So I might need to apologize for that right now. So I kept it real. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. If you'd like to see more like this, be sure to watch Melanie Makes, a mess or a masterpiece. For those of you who commented in the beginning and guessed what you thought was going to happen in this video, I love to see what you think now. You can reply to your first comment. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining me. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you back soon.